So yeah, we can start, bro.
All right, let's start. So here,
There we go.
yes.
All right.
So the reason he did that was to synchronize the audio feeds across devices here.
Right.
I'm the podcast expert
There we go.
today.
There we go.
So,
Yeah, what Mickey said.
so here we are talking about Fresh Aire Network.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just start with the basics. Introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about what Fresh Aire Network is and what you're about.
Cool. My name is Kevan Ware from Chicago, born and raised. Been an entrepreneur now for going on 24 years. August 20, 2002, I fired my boss and started my own consulting firm at the time. Didn't know it was a consulting firm, but that's what it ended up being. I did all lines of insurance for state, federal, military, postal people, and then entrepreneurs and retirees. So I say all that because when I started being an entrepreneur, there was no blueprint. There is still no blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And my background in engineering and electronics and all that stuff wasn't necessarily transferable until actually I got into the media production. I'll get to that in a minute.
Great.
So to make a long story short is I started my business in Chicago, obviously black male in the insurance game and my own boss, and it was unheard of. So what happened is that I wanted to introduce myself to my new clients and then couple them with my old entrepreneurs and people that I'm talking to. So I started Fresh Aire Network, and that was a weekly networking event that we did, and it's Fresh AIRE. We believe that we are building and maintaining millionaires and billionaires, and everybody needs some fresh air. So what that meant is that those different clients that I had talked to in different lifestyles, whether they in the federal market, military, they worked in corporate world, or they were just an entrepreneur or a retiree, they always wanted something outside of what they were doing to enhance their lifestyle.
So it's interesting because it sounds like in some ways Fresh Aire was kind of a culmination of all your previous experiences and some secret sauce that was kind of missing from your own experience of
And
being like, I'm an entrepreneur now, and what do I do? How do I entrepreneur?
Absolutely.
And so you're helping people who are setting out on their paths and putting them up with people who have already been down some of those roads and can help show them where to go and where to turn.
And it's real world. It's face-to-face engagement. It's something that was being lost a long time ago with people interacting with each other based off of the times, the culture. COVID did a number on us, and I'll fast forward to. So I was bringing people together, showcasing entrepreneurs, that's bands, DJs, the space, myself, other entrepreneurs, and we were having a good time. And after that, I had my own venue space and restaurant. Shout out to Chicago and welcoming me to that whole get down. My whole point is that I went through the gauntlet to actually be able to get information and share information, and then cultivate the environment for information to be shared. And then have a good time. So did that for years. Like I said, went all in with the venue space, the restaurant owner and all that stuff, and that wasn't necessarily what I was supposed to be doing. So I started a media production company about 10 years ago. So instead of Fresh Aire Network just being an entrepreneur space, place that we gather together, everybody knew me in that vein from Chicago, so I just took off the networking, not really networking, and started a media company.
Nice.
So I can actually showcase the people that were there.
Which it's kind of a natural evolution in kind of a weird way. Like, it's not usual, like, oh, you put together these in-person events, so you're going to go start a media company. But there's kind of a common thread there between the two, relating to storytelling and connection, human connection, and showing people who you are. Can you share a bit more about that, please?
Well, there's no blueprint. There's no rules of engagement. There's no place to say, hey, come over here, we got you. Come on. No. We're not hoarding the information. We're not, jealous of you and your situation. We don't know. Come on. The more we interact with each other, at least it's like you have now a group and a mirror to mirror what your lifestyle could be, should be, or is right now as an entrepreneur, because that's a lonely game.
And I love that. And I really love how it benefits everyone, because there are people who are entrepreneurial who feel like they can't talk much about their success because their friends will get jealous or say, oh, you just got lucky or whatever else. And then you've got entrepreneurs who aren't succeeding yet and they need that encouragement. And then these mentorship relationships can be really beneficial to people who have experienced that success, right? Like it's kind of like this symbiotic energy flow.
And it didn't matter if the entrepreneur was in the game for 20 years or 2 days.
Yeah.
Meaning like they both needed the same thing, whether it's a space to have cultivating the relationships and conversations about stuff where a person is listening to help, not listening just to because. And that's what was happening with their friends and family. They would go to them seeking, empathy or information or support, and they like.
And some entrepreneurs may want to talk too much about their stuff, and their families and friends get tired of hearing about it.
It's their life. And that's their lifestyle.
Exactly.
And they shouldn't be lacking on that space and that resource.
Because when you put who you are into your work and your work becomes who you are, not everyone understands that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So creating a space where, when you came to the event, you knew that everybody was open to talking,
to hearing about your idea.
Like hey, what'd you do? What?
Wow. That's a great idea.
And what happens is that businesses are forged, relationships are forged. That entrepreneur now is not out here thinking that he or she doesn't have the marketing experience to get new clients, old client retention, or even just tell their story.
Right. Storytelling. I am really glad that you brought that up, because that was on my little list of questions for you. So you talk a lot about storytelling. Tell me about the role of storytelling in your personal history or life, kind of what shaped your perspective on storytelling over the years.
Well, it's funny. I'm the guy who hadn't talked in the background, didn't want to tell my story, had some challenges when I was a shorty, that what laid way to maybe why I was like that. And I'm sharing that with you because we have so many things that's in our past that's actually dictating what's going on right now, and we don't know why we can't push past certain things. So the point being is that storytelling is a way in which a person can take the fire that's inside them and be able to share it. And once they share it, a person who's the receiver has the ability to have relatability or empathy or the option to have an accord with each other, which means that the person who has the business feel like, oh, I am doing this business and it is a market out there.
Right.
And then that market is out there. It is a business owner that is thinking about me. So how does that transaction or relationship is forged? Generally, y'all not talking in the supermarket. You're not in a space. It used to be church in some cases where you can go and talk to people, but that has changed too. So the point being is that telling the story, I believe that as an entrepreneur, I know all people have stories. I focus on entrepreneurs because that storytelling is the difference between them getting clients forever or just getting clients one-off, and they can't survive like that. So storytelling is the ability to share yourself with the world in your own words,
right?
To relate to that client, not just a product or service, It's the whys why you did that. Like why this business? Why you? Why? Where did it come from? What it spawned for? And that storytelling gives the ability to relate to your clients and your clients to relate to you. So that way, a lot of red tape is actually not in the way, because I've been doing sales for 20 something years, one-on-one. And there is a certain time when you first meet a person where you want to break the ice,
right?
Or you find some kind of common strand, or when in sales they will tell you when you go in somebody's house to look at their pictures and look and see if they are in Chicago a Bears fan, and you open up with, oh, you're a Bears fan, right?
Sure.
So that same microcosm example is what I felt that we can do in front of the cameras to market the person to the actual market, and then build that synergy that actually storytelling does it.
I love it.
Yeah. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it does. And it's really cool because it's like there's this evolution of connection through your story arc here, where, you know, you were talking about working for other people, and then going off on your own and finding that you didn't have a blueprint, but what you could do is connect with people and connect people, right? And that when you did that, you saw stories, you saw things amplify through connection, through psychological safety, shared and common ground.
Yeah, people got married.
And
people got married meeting at my events, and now are married.
And now are married because they met at your events.
It's the common strand, I believe, that.
And so then you move on to starting a podcast, like production, really, a media production company.
Yeah.
And again, you're amplifying storytelling, you're increasing its reach, its scope. Like, it's just like this Kevan snowball that just keeps getting bigger and bigger here.
Well, example, I just gave you a mouthful about my past. That I had an event space and a restaurant. I did these events and I had these DJs, and I got tired of talking. So why not show what I did, which calls for documentation, which is very important. Why I did this is documenting your experiences, for yourself. B is you get to document it for yourself. That's one, not A, or A or one. And then B is training.
Totally.
So many times people haven't heard themselves on the mic, in front of the camera, in insurance and sales. They said the second most fearful thing that a human has is the fear of being in front of and speaking in front of a audience.
Yeah, public speaking is like the second biggest fear that people have.
So obviously I've gone through that with my clients to get past that shit.
Yeah.
Because you need to get these clients so you can pay your bills.
Right. And it's like, it's a skill. It's not something that you're born not good at or good at or anything like that. If you put in the reps, you learn the basics, you're going to get better than where you're at, right?
That, and psychologically and culturally, we have not been taught to tell our stories. We've been taught in the corporate structure to be a team member, not a leader, a team member. So what happens is that you don't have so many chances to actually step up, say your part,
practice telling your story, right?
Anything,
yeah,
oratorical. Okay. I know Toastmasters is something that I was into back in the day.
Oh, cool.
The whole point is that to get past that, psychologically, I go through that with my clients.
So how do you help your clients get past fear of public speaking?
It's a little bit of tough love.
Okay.
It's a lot of us understanding the intentions on why we're doing what we're doing. The intentions. The intentions is what? Tell your story.
Right.
Tell your story so your market can actually hear it and see it. See it enough to be able to move. Move meaning what? They means that they gonna call you or you call them, and then that spawns the opportunity for them to have consideration of you being a client of theirs.
Absolutely.
So it's imperative nowadays that people get past that and then, in my opinion, share their ideas and their concepts through video, so I create TV. So I don't want to be typecast as just podcast, because podcast is a form of TV, and I'm sharing
it's just
that.
general, like, small scale media, right? Is basically under the podcast umbrella these days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So ESPN, when you see the tickers and the bugs and all that stuff, and the picture-in-picture, I do all that. My point is that I never know what my client and how that client want to tell their story, how extravagant it might want to be, which led me to creating this to be mobile. My stuff is mobile. I can go any place.
Which is amazing, and I think that we should talk more about that. So you're able to meet clients where they are by taking your stuff mobile.
Yes. Shout out to Bronzeville in Chicago. Martin Luther King Center was the first place I started my studio. I built it raw, just came into space and had a thought process, no blueprint, no soundproofing, none of that stuff, and built it. My whole point is that I didn't want everybody in my studio.
Okay.
Just like you don't want everybody in your house. You don't want everybody, around your kids, certain things. So I did the tier of having my own space, having people come. Sometimes it wasn't big enough. Sometimes it wasn't intimate enough. Sometimes it didn't look like what they wanted.
So you were limited with how flexible you could be by having your own space that you would do your podcast.
And people want different things. So I grew into, I don't want everybody in my space. That's one thing. Two, this space is not for everything. So fortunately and unfortunately, I stayed at it. Unfortunately, the technology hadn't caught up yet for it to be mobile, for stuff to actually, this podcast stuff is still pretty new in the electronic and media world. Either way, got it all together, learned that my client may want to have fluffy tables and stuff and foo-foo. Shout out to my women.
Put in your studio.
I mean, what else I gotta do? So I learned to transfer this to a mobile capacity and to go where they at, so they can actually do what they want to do and look the way it wants to look. Whether it's a big town hall meetings, I did that in McCormick Place. Shout out to Pat Dow, who is a politician in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So my point is that I never knew what my clients was going to want. It was a politician that was doing a monthly town hall meeting, which is big.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding.
As opposed to a small podcast, me and you just talking.
So on the mobile and the equipment side, we're talking about your equipment here, and it's clear that you invest in some top tier equipment here. Tell me about the role of the quality, the grade of the electronics, the audio-visual equipment that you invest in, and how you go about selecting what you do.
First and foremost, I did not want entrepreneurs to have to answer the question on why your stuff don't look professional. Why doesn't it look professional? That was not going to be, especially, I'll say it, a black male in Chicago that started a podcast that nobody else was doing in Chicago, and I'm going to talk to different nationalities and even my own people, and they have no earthly idea what's going on. But when you show them a presentation of what the outcome is, they're like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
So
can do something with this.
Yeah, this can represent me, basically. That's all they're really saying.
Because they resonate with it better. Okay.
So the issue is that I had no prior experience in none of this stuff. So you can imagine, shout out to my camera right there, was one of my first cameras.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
Still doing it strong.
But that's a good point too, is that I wanted to fail safe it on it lasting. So much equipment goes in and goes out. So imagine my first camera was $1,200.
right
10 years ago. And that's just the body.
Yeah.
Mickey, that's not even
that's not the lenses. That's right. That's none of your cards. That's not your Wi-Fi receiver. That's not your Bluetooth rebroadcaster. None of that. 100%.
No tripod.
No tripod.
Nothing. None of that stuff. So my point being is that imagine you going at it by yourself and have to shell over something that you don't even know how to work the camera. Wow. This is your first time. Shout out to.
So what made you take that risk? I mean, that's a big risk. You're like,
I had to do it for myself first. People, I had to do this. I said HAD. This is a must. I very rarely say that word. I had to do it for myself because there was no other person, entity, or thing that was knocking at my door. Be like, hey, Kevan, sit your ass down. I got you. Well, you know what you was doing wrong right there, and then you can fix that.
There's no blueprint
to get the client so you can pay your bills.
Exactly. And I think it's kind of fascinating because when you push yourself past that edge of your comfort zone and there's nothing left, you discover that you're capable of things you didn't know you were capable of.
Man. God and the universe is good, bro. Because that's 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We using the same concept today, and we right here because it's rainy season here. I didn't want to put it back there.
Oh yeah.
The point is that all of the experiences I've had in the past led me to pivot and make this the podcast spot. The same thing with your clients. You never know what might happen, and you may have to pivot, but it's not the quality and the experiences is not going to suffer for it. So to answer your question, man, is I had to do it because I wanted to tell my story. Right. And then the other people and all the people that was coming to me that wore my ear at the networking events all those years who wanted to tell their story.
Awesome.
And we didn't have too many answers.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And hey, thank you for basically telling your story about storytelling. That's pretty awesome stuff.
Thank you, man.
What should I have thought to ask you that I didn't think to ask you today?
What do my intentions on the outcomes of my clients?
Perfect.
Yeah.
What outcomes do you want for your clients when they come to you?
Great answer. Great question.
Thank you.
Let me think about it. This kind of caught me off guard a little bit. What did I want for my clients? Very good question, sir. I always think of when I speak to and take on clients that I'm teaching them a system and an approach to how to and what to do to tell their story. What does that mean? That means, Mickey, you and I, when we met, we started talking about all kinds of different stuff, your past, your future, what you're currently doing, the app, the fact that you do websites. Shout out to you. Little shout out. And what happens is that those new ideas are continuously going to come to a human being, I feel, but for an entrepreneur, it's going to come much, much faster. And as these concepts, products, services come, I always wanted to share this concept with a client like I did with you or like I'm doing with you, to whether it's seeing what the equipment is, sitting down, having a little powwow and talking, and then seeing what it looks like. And then your mind starts to pew, 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 pew. What does that mean? That means that, now that I know the technology and how this looks and all that stuff, what if I drop a commercial? What if I talk about the experiences and the relationships and the groups and all the stuff that I'm a part of? And can I do a video or drop to yes, you can. So what happens is that you start to understand how do you market yourself and market other individuals while you're marketing yourself, and it becomes a systematic approach on what you do later on in life. Meaning you're not going to stop with these ideas, especially you, Mickey. You're not going to stop, bro. You're not going to stop. So how do you use this concept of videos and podcasts and commercials and green screen and events to actually come up with like, oh, that worked? Or what if I changed that product to this product?
And that's why I think that's why you love working with engineers or with the entrepreneurs, engineers too, but especially entrepreneurs, is like the tinkerers, the people who are always saying, what if this, what if that? Your energy really complements that sort of energy. Like you really love those people that are going to like ask you a question in a way that you hadn't thought about it before.
And wants to move.
Exactly.
Consistently. Meaning, this is not something, to your point, this is not something that you do one time and that's it.
Right.
It's like a website designer.
Right.
You know, it's an ongoing process. You don't just give me no information and then I put it on there and it's static and that's it.
Yeah.
It's forever changing.
I think this is kind of the new frontier of business, especially as AI is doing more and more. It's no longer how can I find someone who can do it. It's how can I find somebody who knows when and how to do it.
Yes.
Like, because anybody can do it. And so it becomes a matter of taste, of experimentation. It's the when and how.
That's a good point, man. I would be remiss not to mention the consulting part that I do.
Absolutely.
The consulting part is the most important part, I believe. And that's because it's where we sit down, we feel each other out. I feel you out on what you know, what you don't know, what you might want to do, what you don't want to do. And then we share and come up with an approach. Not mine, just an idea of the approach, because this is your business, not mine. So the micromanaging stuff,
Which I tell people that their website is a tool. It's like a prop. It's something, it's not your business. It's an aspect of your business that you can leverage, just like the media strategy is not the business. It's a tool in your tool belt to serve the business.
And learning that tool and appreciating the tool and going back to the tool and cleaning it up, repurposing the tool, all of that good stuff is what I believe a person in the entrepreneurial mindset is more apt to do. I'm not shitting on corporate people, because my events were for entrepreneurs and those aspiring to be entrepreneurs. That was in my tagline. The networking events for those are entrepreneurs and those aspiring to be entrepreneurs. It's very important. So I don't want to hear nobody when they come to me like, oh, I just started. So what? So what? Let's get it. Because you've been doing that, or you've been thinking about the idea for a long time.
You've been thinking about it, like, just go for it.
So that's the thing that this helps to actually bring out for newcomers, old people, repurposing 20-year-old people that have businesses. When they started talking about this, they started being rejuvenized about how they spending their time.
Love it. Love it. Well, so then how do people get a hold of you? What's the next step? What's the call to action here?
Since my guy Mickey has just did my website or landing page, you can go to freshairnetwork.com, and it is fresh, AIRE network.com, and you can go on and find that on any of the other platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And the whole point is to become familiar with what are the possibilities, and I have some things on there that you can have a starting point. That means that I've done a ton of stuff, but I put things up there that kind of gives a person the idea of like, oh, what's that? I like that look.
Nice.
So we can have a starting point. So, and then perhaps we can have a conversation about your particular business, and specifically your particular business, and then see how perhaps we can have some kind of synergy and make it happen for yourself.
Hey, this was a lot of fun. FreshAirNetwork.com, Kevan Ware, and I'm Mickey with Corwood.io. Thank you.
So Fresh Air Network, we believe that we are building and maintaining millionaires and billionaires, and everybody needs some fresh air. Get some.
Cheers.
Thanks.